Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate it. For those of you who don't know, my name is Mandy. Welcome to the Hickson Diaries. We have a heck of a show for you guys tonight. First, happy Guy Fawkes. Is that a thing? Do you guys say happy Guy Fawkes? Do you say anything like that? I don't think you do. It seems a bit strange. All right, I'm just gonna press on. So it's Bonfire Night, Guy Fawkes Night. So I'm gonna learn a little bit about that. If we have time, we're gonna check in with a live stream of the Lewis celebration going on right now. They're doing a live stream of it, so we're gonna check in with that a little bit. And apparently there's some kind of poem about Guy Fawkes that everybody knows that I need to learn in order to help integrate me into English society. So we're going to learn about that as well. I'm going to talk about some things about American elections, because in case you don't know, there's an election going on in the US right now. And spoiler alert, we're going to talk about things that suck, and it's the Electoral College is definitely on the list. And we're going to check in with some election results throughout the show as well. But first, before anything else, I humbly ask if you could please like and share the stream. It helps us out a lot with the YouTube algorithm and helps me stay in good with all the YouTube gods that I desperately need right now. And also don't forget to send in all your chats, your super chats. Oh, and we have a goal. If you guys can send in a super chat. So a super chat is where you donate money to the channel with your chat. If you can, we have a goal to try to hit 10 super chats for this live stream. If you're able to, but don't do it if you can't do it. That's fine. Don't worry if we don't hit the goal. But if we do hit the 10 super chat goal, I'm going to do a special live stream Q&A with y'all and answer whatever questions you have. No holds barred, no pretext, no script, no plan, just whatever you guys want to ask me. So if you're interested in that, see if you can handle it financially and send in a super chat. If not, regular chats are just as good. I always respond to them, and it's my favorite part of doing live streams, to be honest. So yeah. Right before we get started, I want to talk about our contest as well. So let me bring up my trusty little advert here. Which I neglected to pull up. So I'm sorry, I'm flying bad here. Okay, so it's not gonna work. Okay, never mind. So I'll just have to tell you about it. So we're having a contest. We're having a contest all about naming our live stream. So this show right now has no name, and it's because every name that I came up with is super cheesy, and I didn't want to do that to you guys. So I left it up to y'all because you guys are super creative and you always help me out whenever I need it. So there's a contest out there. There's some posts in the community tab, and there's also a video out there about it, but I'm going to repost all of it as well. But just so that you know, so you submit your what you think is the greatest name in the world for this podcast / live stream, you can do it via email at Hickson Diaries at gmail.com. You can send me a DM on Twitter, formerly Twitter, now X, and Instagram or Threads. And or you can just leave it in the comments below of this video or any of the videos or posts as well. You can submit it the easiest way. I figured that would be the easiest way for all of you guys, right? Open it up to everyone. There's been some submissions so far, some really good ones. I'm excited. Thank you for everybody who's already submitted. Also, remember, no purchase is necessary. This isn't affiliated with Google or YouTube in any way. It's strictly off the channel's back. And you can enter as many times as you want. So if you come up with another one that you want to send in, by all means, send in a second, third, fourth, 10th submission, whatever you want. And the deadline for submissions is this Friday at midnight. Right? That's the 8th. This is the 8th. Today's the 5th. 6th, 7th. Yep, the 8th, this Friday. I'm on the ball, guys. If this is the first time that you've joined us, thank you for taking a shot on us, but this is kind of what it's like. I am not professional at all, and it's kind of a free-for-all sometimes. Usually have a loose plan, but we just go with it. Anyways, as you can see, I'm a little bit hyper today. Just had a crazy busy day and settling in all of the stuff that's going on. But without further ado, we're going to get into the first topic. My predictions of the US election. For some reason, a lot of people here in England have asked me to make a prediction, to call what I think is going to happen. And I don't know if it's just like a novelty for them or anything because I'm American, but a lot of people have asked me to make a prediction. So I thought I would just do a little prediction here to start off the show. In case you don't know, there is an election going on in the United States. Now, there's more than just the president that's being selected or voted on in this election. But of course, that is the biggest office because of the impact that it has on the country and the rest of the world. And I've heard that, a lot of people are watching the elections, eager to know what happens. My prediction is that I think Trump might win. And I only say that because Kamala Harris represents the establishment and the current government, which lots of people are not happy with either of them. And Trump, even though he isn't necessarily anti-establishment, he poisons himself that way. And I feel like a lot of people that may have voted for Kamala will sit out for whatever reasons. That's my prediction. Personally, totally just my opinion, and I do not vote shame at all. Anyone, has to vote their conscience. Personally, I hope that's not the case. Because I lived through a Trump presidency in America during one of the biggest global crises around, the pandemic, and it was not fun. So I don't think that he'd be a good candidate for president, especially given some of the turmoil that's going on in the world now too. But I'm not really a big Kamala fan either, so... but my prediction is not based on anything other than what I told you. It's not based on my personal opinions. It's not based on any polling. And I am not a professional political analyst or anything like that by far. But that's my prediction. That's what I've been telling people. I just think also the other deciding factor is the Electoral College. It's not really based on popular vote in America. So I think that he has a better chance to win than a lot of people give him credit for. And it's surprising because that's exactly how he won in the 2016 election against Hillary Clinton. And they underestimated him then. And so I think it's a mistake to underestimate him now. Hope I'm wrong, but that's my prediction. Do with it what you will. Please, please, please Get out there and vote. If you're watching this from America and you haven't voted yet, please get out there and vote. Voting is very, very important, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. It's just your voice. And even if you feel like your voice isn't being heard for whatever reason, at least go through the act. Don't vote for the president, vote down ballot, vote for somebody else, just write in a candidate, but at least do make sure that you vote. It's really important. A lot of people have struggled and died for our rights to vote. So we need to make sure that we exercise them and honor them and exercise our right. Okay. I swear it's not going to be all political today. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk about Guy Fawkes and everything. I'm going to have a lot of fun, I promise. But I can't not acknowledge what's happening in America right now. Hello, Sam K. Thank you for joining us. Excuse me 1 second, y'all. My nose is running. Hello, Chris. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Falco, hello. Clay, thank you so much for joining us. Good evening to you. You guys are awesome. Remember the 5th of November. That's the poem, right? Yeah, I've been told I need to learn that. Hi, Manny. Thank you for joining us. And Chris coming through with the super chat. Thank you. Really appreciate it. That's 9 more to reach our goal and get a bonus Q&A session. Oh, and as a side note, just remember that a portion of all of our proceeds, no matter how they come in, whether it comes in from views, from YouTube paying us for views, whether it comes in from ad watches, whether it comes in through super chats, you donate and buy me a coffee, any of that stuff, portion of all those proceeds goes to the Royal British Legion automatically right off the top before anything else is invested back in the channel. So I want to put that out there. I know the membership program has been postponed, has been canceled for now for lack of resources. But all of that is still true. We're still doing all those donations and stuff. Just because the membership program isn't live at the moment doesn't mean that we're not doing that. So I do want to remind everybody of that because it's been a bit since I've reminded people. How does one smash the like button more than 300 times? Sam, if you can let me know if anyone knows, please put it in the chat. I think we'll all do it because I could definitely use the help. Trump will stop all aid to Ukraine as soon as possible. Yeah, Trump has a relationship with Putin. He also has a relationship with Netanyahu. So I don't know how much of this is true because I follow American politics. I'm trying to follow English politics because I don't know it as well, so it's harder for me to follow. But I'm obviously staying on top of American politics as well because of all the friends and family, and obviously it's my home. But from what I've heard, he's had private conversations with both Putin and Netanyahu already, not even being president. So I don't know how true that is, but we'll see. Between devil and deep blue sea. I don't know what you're referring to, Clay. I need more info. I'll be watching the U.S. election coverage and really hope Kamala wins. Trump's brand is utterly repugnant. I personally agree. Obviously, he is responsible for appointing the people to the Supreme Court that overturned Roe versus Wade. That's personally impactful to me and my child. And like I said, I lived through a Trump presidency. Not good look. He's very misogynistic. He's very racist. He's just not, in my eyes, he's not a good person. And I'm not saying this just because he was a president and I didn't appreciate his presidency. I actually didn't like Donald Trump well before he was involved in politics. I just always thought he was kind of an arrogant jerk. So I'm going to try to control my language today. For me, as soon as I knew he was running for president, the first time I was like, okay, if he wins, I'm out. And here I am. Hi, boy cousins. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. My nose is running pretty damn fast. I'll tell you that. I was outside all day today No, my throat is scratchy. My nose has been running. That's pretty annoying. I had a coat on, but I didn't have a scarf on. And now I'm feeling a little bit just run down. Oh, Manny, thank you so much for the super chat. You're awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, 2 crap choices. That's pretty much what American presidential elections have devolved to. What breed of cat is that curling up on Trump's head? It occasionally flicks its tail in the wind. Yeah, neither of them will help us. You're absolutely right, Clay. They're both very establishment, and they're both very they only care about the people that donate money to their campaigns, or it's going to make them rich. In Trump's case, I think it's a lot more personal. He wants to make his own money, but it doesn't make Kamala any better in that sense. Anyways, since we're talking about the election in America, let me go to my grievances about the electoral process in America. So I'm going to go through this briefly because I know you guys don't really care that much, but I do need to kind of vent about it a bit because it's so frustrating. And like I said, a lot of people have been asking me about the election. So, and I'm trying to explain it to everybody why, the popular vote doesn't really count and why people just don't want to be involved in politics and why we would even consider electing someone like Trump again based on his past presidency and some of the things he's said and done even in his campaign now. So I wanted to kind of go through this list. I compiled a small little list of things about some of the reasons why American politics just sucks. So the first one is the polarization and partisanship. So they're really, really, really political, right? Like you pick a camp and you kind of are almost forced to stay with them. It's an us versus them type of mentality. And that's just not how life is, right? It's not black and white. You really have a lot more gray. And there are areas where, both parties have common ground and have an opportunity to get things done. But because they just want to be tribal about it and just stay in their party lane, and a lot of the supporters tend to just be very tribal as well and not really open-minded about things, it can be extremely difficult to have conversations and discuss real problems, discuss solutions, to these real problems that are around in America. It's just exhausting after a while. Our elections are run by the state. So they're even the national election, let me start that over. Even in elections like this one, where the president, the federal office of president is going to be selected, there's actual election, the actual voting process is run by each state. And each state has its own laws because it's America. And when certain people get into power, they like to try to rig those laws so that the voter turnout comes a little bit more in their party's favor. So there's a lot of suppression. There's a lot of ID laws. So if you don't have the right ID or you have an expired ID or whatever, you won't be able to vote. There's something called gerrymandering. So instead of just kind of like the voting blocks, it's gerrymandering is kind of hard to explain, but like instead of the town or whatever like being cut up into sections evenly, it's just kind of redistributed around to where like a certain party will have a majority, and because there's some states that you can vote really, really early, you can vote by mail, you can vote some places that are open late, and it's always being on a Tuesday. You don't get the day off, so you have to try to work around when your voting poll area is open. It's just really hard sometimes for people to even access, or for those who want to cast their votes, even get into the polls and cast their vote. And you add in the next thing, which is campaign financing, there's so much money in politics in America, and it's money to the party, not the individual candidate. So if you raise a lot of money, for example, Kamala Harris has raised like $1 billion, I think, in campaign contributions. She's considered to be a winning candidate because she's raised a lot of money. But that money doesn't go like into her policies or anything like that. That if she becomes president, it is just for her to get elected. And if the money is not, if she ends up losing, that money will stay in the Democratic Party fund and will help other Democrats. So like, it's not really, the money's not going to really a good cause. It's only going to elections. Sometimes it's going to suppressing the opposition of the election. And that's really, really frustrating because that's when the policies tend to favor donors over what the actual populace wants. And you have a lot of media bias and misinformation. So you have places like Fox News that are extremely conservative, so they're only going to push their agendas or the conservative/Republican agenda, blah, blah, blah. And it's the same on the Democratic side. There's the same exact thing on that side. It's not exclusive at all. It's really hard to find out what the truth is sometimes. The elections are extremely long. It's constantly campaigning because it feels like there's elections all the time. So the president's elected every 4 years. Our senators, which is part of our House of Congress, which is a part of our Congress, excuse me. The senators are elected every 2 years, and the congressmen, excuse me, let me start over. So the president's elected every 4 years. The Senate, which is part of our Congress, is elected every 6 years. And the Congress, the House of Congress people, and the House of Representatives are elected every 2 years. So there's constantly an election. That's just on the federal level. You have state elections, you have county elections, you have local town elections, you even have elections for things like school board president. So one guy gets to determine the curriculum for the school in that area instead of it being like a national mandate. It's really, really long, really confusing, and it's very, very complex. It makes people like not want to vote. Lots of people aren't going to turn out in this election because they're not happy with either of the candidates. And also can create this environment where it's all about negative campaigning, right? It's all about just hating on the other person instead of actually discussing real solutions and policies that could help the American people. And you factor in the Electoral College, which means that the focus or the emphasis on actual winning of the presidential election, at least, is heavily on a few states, maybe 7, I think it is. And because they are the ones that go back and forth between conservative and liberal party. And so they're the ones who they're called swing states because they keep going back and forth. And they're the ones that, if like half of them vote for Kamala, then she'll become president. But if half of them vote for Trump, then he'll become president. So it's a really, really complex, strange system. It should just be popular vote. It causes a lot of confusion. It makes it unnecessarily complex and makes it really difficult to get excited about any election or any candidate. And if you factor in the fact that you just have all these issues going on, not just in America, but globally, that no one seems to want to fix or do anything about, it makes people want to just sit out and do nothing. And those are all the reasons why the American electoral system sucks. In my opinion. Take it for what it is. Ugh. Reagan was a president that you all liked, huh? Reagan was he wasn't an awful president, but he definitely internally in America kind of started a whole bunch of crap conservative policies that we're still feeling the effects of today, to be honest. But again, I'm not really a political scholar. This is all stuff that I've learned from documentaries and just picking up on politics and watching some analytics on my own. So, oh, Manny, it's so nice of you. I appreciate it. Minnie said, we love to have you in the UK. I will be saying a bedtime prayer for Harris Waltz to win. I didn't need to say a prayer for the Labour Party. I think the Labour Party had a lock. I think a lot of people were just anti-Tory party at that point. But I appreciate your thoughts. Thank you. I do hope for a Harris Waltz win because there's a lot of women I know that still live in the United States that need some help and protection. Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. It's extremely confusing and annoying. Jim Carrey would be a better candidate than Trump. Listen, Jim Carrey's a smart guy, and he seems to he's a little bit eccentric, but he seems to at least know what real life is. You know what I mean? Ay. Yes, yeah, Chris, you're right. There's very rarely a third choice. I will say there are two other choices in this election. Dr. Cornel West is running for the People's Party, I believe it's called, and Jill Stein is running for I don't know the name of the party. Here's the problem. It's not really a two-party system, but the way that everything is set up and so complex, you have to get a certain number of votes over a certain period of time for that party in order to be recognized as the national party. And both of those parties are in the process of building that right now. So they're not actually viable candidates at the moment. The other thing is, if anyone does kind of run as like an independent or one of these parties, the media, because the media is extremely partisan, tends to jump on them and say, oh, they're terrible, or they're trying to steal votes away from this person or that person, and blah blah blah, and they tend to steamroll them. It's a really, really difficult situation. Yes, America is the home of the land of the free and the land of opportunity by far. We don't need any more monster raving lunatics in America, but thanks for the offer, Chris. The US election needs to be like ours here in the UK. If as a candidate you lose, then you are out the next day and there's no too much transition period. Yeah, that's another thing it's a really good point. Thank you, Manny, for bringing that up. I should have added to my list. The fact that you elect someone in November, but they don't actually take office in till January. I like that about the UK elections, that you take over right away and it's done. I also like that you can call elections, right? That there's no set number of years that it has to turn over, because if someone's doing a good job, they should be able to stay in that position, right? I mean, you're not going to fire an employee that's doing a stellar job. You want them to keep doing a stellar job, right? I don't think we've had any of those types of presidents, at least in my adult life. But if they did, I would like them to stay. If fluorescent turns Trump's face orange, I guess the LED lights will turn his face blue or purple like the faulty streetlights in America. Are you supposed to have an election every 5 years? Because I thought the Tories didn't have an election, 2 elections while they were in power, did they? I'm still new to English politics, so please bear with me. I am still learning. I'm just going to take a quick look at the results. If you guys want to see. And then we're going to do some Guy Fawkes fun. Nothing yet. There's nothing in yet. See, here's the US, for those of you who don't know. Here's New Jersey. The best place in the world. No, it's really not. But it's not that bad, actually. And here is what's considered the battleground states. Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nebraska, Nevada, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada, Arizona. What this deal is a lot. So, for example, California typically will always vote Democratic, which is the Liberal Party. So it's very, very rare to have enough votes in California for the Republican Party, which is the Conservative Party, to actually make the electors go to anyone but the Democrats. So that's why it's considered a blue state. Texas, same exact thing. They have 40 electors, but it's the same thing, but on the conservative side. So it's very, very rare that Texas has enough people voting for the Democratic Party that will overturn it's really hard to explain. The Electoral College sucks. There's probably a video about it to probably explain it easier. But basically, whoever has the most popular vote, the party that has the most popular vote in the state gets the electors for that state. And the electors determine who becomes president. And the electors, you have to have 270 electors to win the presidency. Fucking crazy, guys. I said I was going to try to control my temper. It's not a good system. It should just go on popular vote. I don't understand. I don't understand. Yes, they probably both Kamala and Trump were probably both in Pennsylvania yesterday. So Pennsylvania is one they want to get. Yeah, he didn't care. You're absolutely right, Sam. But to be honest, I'm so used to American politicians, especially at the presidential or at least a federal level, senators and congressmen including, at just doing stunts like that, doing stunts like Trump did with the McDonald's thing, that it doesn't even faze me anymore. I'm so used to it now. All right, let's check in with the Lewis bonfire. Lewis or Lewis, guys? Is it Lewis? Let's see if there's anything going on.
Insights. And there's a little audio ways code just on the wall around the corner, which you can click on and listen to a local historian, John Bleach, talk about the Camel's Humps, which is an earthwork on top of Morling Down, which he believes was made to be seen specifically from this spot right in front of us. So it seems it was a place of ancient importance. It was a church. Now it's the war memorial and the focus of remembrance and also the focus of Bonfire Night. And I think that's all rather magical and sends a little chill down my spine, actually.
Did I miss something? I think I missed something because it doesn't look like they're celebrating. They're just walking.
Lewis, of course, a place of many mysteries, all the mounds, and it's a place of with a lot of druidic history, talk of ley lines. There is an interesting...
I chose Wix for my...
All right, we will check in. We will check in again with that later on, y'all. All right, so let's do this poem thing. I don't know anything about this poem, just so that everybody knows. So please bear with me.
Remember, remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten. Guy Fawkes, it was his intent to blow up the king and the parliament. 70 barrels of powder below, poor old England to overthrow.
Okay. I learned a little bit about Guy Fawkes when we went to the London Dungeon last year for Christmas. And also, we did go to a Guy Fawkes celebration last year, but they didn't really give us any history on it or anything. But yeah, he had a bunch of gunpowder at the bottom of Parliament, and he wanted to blow it up so that the king, there would be no more monarch, right? That was my understanding. Please correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, though.
By God's providence, he was catched with a dark lantern and burning match. Holla boys, make the bells ring. Holla boys, God save the king. Hip hip hooray.
It's kind of fun. That was kind of fun. Is that something you guys learn in school? Because I know that you guys are big on Guy Fawkes. Guy Fawkes is huge, man. I don't remember ever learning about it in America, but that doesn't mean, I mean, we don't learn about a lot of stuff that's not American, to be honest. Is Lewis the one with the barrels on fire? I have no idea. I didn't see anything. There's nothing going on. I don't know what they're doing. He wasn't the instigator, but the only one that had experience with gunpowder. Yeah, there was a group of people, right? Like I said, we went to the London Dungeon for Christmas last year, and they did have a section about Guy Fawkes, and they did teach us about it. And there was like a group of people that decided they wanted to overthrow the king, right? And they knew King was going to be in Parliament that day. That's why they picked the 5th of November. And so they had all the gunpowder at the bottom, and then they got discovered. He got discovered. Hello, George Benson. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but thank you for the chat. Ukraine will have a very of Guy Fawkes, but with Putin in place of Guy Fawkes. I don't advocate for violence in any way, shape, or form, but Ukrainians need to do what they got to do. That's all. They dress up like Vikings and burn crosses and wear masks. Interesting. Yeah, I was hoping to see some of that, but I guess I'm catching it at a bad time. Oh, wait, let's go back a little bit. Looks like they did the parade. Let's go back a little bit. Looks like you just dismissed it. You guys cool? We go back and watch it? You guys are cool if we go back and watch it? No, you don't. You guys don't mind. You guys are good. Make sure you're hitting that like button for me, y'all. Let's see what's going on.
And notice that most shops have boarded up. Some haven't. Some have done a kind of perfunctory couple of planks of wood, and some have gone full hog, haven't they? The whole hog with great big boards covering the whole of the window. And it's interesting to hear that is exactly what happened in 1873. There's been work for borders uppers in Lewis in this period of time for over a century.
Yeah, good trade to be in November.
Good thing, good to know that not just American commentators on stuff like this are cheesy as hell.
So who are we expecting next, Helen?
Well, I think it's going to be Commercial Square next. You can never be 100% sure because things are liable to change at the last minute. But I can see a few gold and black hooped Guernseys, which are usually a sign that Commercial Square are nearby.
The waspish look of the Commercial Square Guernsey.
Yeah, they're great, aren't they? One of the biggest societies, so we can expect many, many people to be passing before us, including their amazing first pioneers, the Native Americans.
Yeah, let's talk about them later when they're going past, because
Okay.
they're very interesting.
Give it up for Native Americans.
There's an old story about how Commercial Square came about having the Native Americans as one of their pioneers. It might
Let's scoot this along just a tad here.
And they're so rooted in the area from which Southover hail, which is
these different kind of costume themes, and of course these aren't costumes that are just knocked up.
Okay, you guys, as a culture, I don't know if this is all of the UK, but definitely England, you love an excuse to dress up. You guys dress up for darts, you dress up for Christmas, you dress up for just random football games. Like, you guys love dressing up. And I'm not hating on it. I love dressing up. So I think it's great. But it's definitely a unique thing, I think, from my experience anyway. It's been unique to England. But let me know if I'm wrong on that. But that's been my experience so far.
Overnight, as if they were going to some sort of fancy dress party. No, indeed not. These are costumes that are made. They're used year on year, but an incredible amount of effort has gone into every detail of these costumes. Indeed, they're still theatrical as they were in 1873.
And of course, the societies, they haven't always had the same costumes. Their pioneers have changed through the years as well. And I think we'll be talking a bit more about that later too. But I was just going to say, I really love the monks of Southover. They're one of my favourite first pioneers, and they're so rooted in the area from which Southover hail, which is very close to the old Cluniac Priory of St Pancras, which is now in ruins. So it's great to see them.
Yeah, I mean, all that's left of the Cluniac Priory is the toilets, ruins of the toilets, indeed.
But so much of the
Hopefully they've been drained and, all the waste has been disposed of properly.
masonry is, you can see in other buildings in Lewes, when it was all smashed up in the Reformation, well, blown up actually, the material was utilized in the building of other buildings, and it's quite a fun game to play, walking around the south side of Lewes and spotting bits of priory.
Interesting.
And so, yes, the first pioneers of the Southover, as we mentioned, are the Cluniac monks. And I think we can see below us at the moment, you can see the first pioneers of Commercial Square, Native Americans. Now, the story goes that back in the 1890s, when this pioneer costume was first introduced, there were some Louisians who went to America and were struck by the plight of the indigenous population, and therefore came back and started up this pioneer costume in order to raise awareness about such plight. And the costume has been worn ever since.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story. Yeah, we were not nice to the Native Americans. We still aren't.
You can see some Native American costumes in front of us. A gentleman with a cross there with feathers down the back. Is it a gentleman, Helen? I can't see.
I think it's a gentleman. I haven't got my glasses on at the moment, I have to admit.
What are they doing?
We've just had a message from Ella. She says, "Hello, watching online tonight with my uncle, drinking a glass of gin."
So are they going to actually do something? Right? Like, I thought I saw like fire and stuff. It looks like they're getting ready to do some kind of ceremony, right? Is this normal? Or I know this particular town's celebration is very specific and special, I've heard. And it's like massive, right? Lots and lots of people go to it, but I don't know anything about it. The only thing I know about the actual ceremonies is sometimes there's a parade and they have a bonfire and they usually throw an effigy of Guy Fawkes in it and set him on fire, and then there's fireworks.
Be able to provide a feed for everybody who can't make it.
I'd also like to say a hello to everyone at Richard's Butchers at the top of the town. I popped in there to buy the magnificent sausages that are now adorning my kitchen table. And Pete said that they would probably have us on us in the shop as usual. So hi, everybody. Keep up the good work. And I hope you're selling lots of lovely pies.
Yeah, I can very much recommend the pasties. You can't say Cornish pasties because they're not made actually in Cornwall, but the pasties of that ilk made up at Richard's.
Really? You can't say it if it's not made in... Really? Is that really a thing?
Proper peppery they are. They're fantastic pasty to be had up there.
And the sausage rolls are the best in town, in my opinion.
It sounds like Pete's paid us some money, but we assure you that this isn't an advert.
No, I paid for my sausages.
While we're on the subject, it must be said that there's also... Oh, hold on, we've got a message coming through.
Oh, it's from Becky Matthews. She says, can we say a huge happy 30th birthday to Jordan Dudley?
All right. The commentators are super riveting. What is supposed to be happening? Somebody help me. Am I missing something? You are not right, Sam. I'm just letting you know. I don't have beaver memorabilia. All my walls are blank at the moment. It's a long story, a very long story with the landlord. What is happening here? Okay, so Roy Cousins has some info. The burning crosses are to commemorate 17 Protestant martyrs who died at Lewis during the reign of Queen Mary, Bloody Mary, who was Catholic, unlike her father Henry VIII and her sister Elizabeth I. Right, because her mom was Catherine of Aragon, and her mom was Catholic, and she was very, very disappointed that her dad had not only divorced her mom but separated from the Catholic Church. Ooh, I know some stuff.
Great pleasure and privilege of doing this every bonfire night.
I have no idea what's happening on this live stream, though. It had to do with religion, really? Henry VIII knocked a lot of cathedrals and abbeys down. Didn't he do that because he was worried about corruption? Something like that, right?
Middle.
I don't remember exactly, but I do remember that there was... I do remember him having some kind of crusade, but it might have... I think it was against the Catholics, right? It was like he was trying to create this Church of England Protestant religion, basically just so that he could marry Anne Boleyn. But it was basically Catholicism with divorce. But he was trying to instill this religion, right, throughout the country, and there was obviously a ton of Catholics that did not like that. But he was definitely brutal to a lot of it. But I believe his daughter was more brutal, if I'm not mistaken.
Before the rest, they're all groups of interwoven groups of people from all sorts of walks of life who get together, who trust each other, who work together closely. And I think it knits the community together in Lewis in a way that other communities aren't knit together. It's very, very interesting that a lawyer might be
Fire!
marching next to a butcher, next to a brick
Fire! I say fire!
who is unemployed, and they are all of equal status, and they all have equal status within the society, and they all trust one another, and this really helps knit the community together. That is something that I find very special about Lewis.
Yeah, they all have each other's back. I think you're absolutely right with that, Alex.
So they mentioned earlier that this was a site a church used to be on, right? So it ties in with what you were saying, that a lot of it has to do with religion. So I guess they do it on this site because of that. I'm gathering, just an assumption.
Aspects of Lewis. I think that other towns don't have it.
It's as far as I know, although we might find out different later, but as far as I know, it is a mystery as to why the bonfire tradition persisted so strongly in Sussex and in Lewis in particular. Perhaps we could talk a bit more about that later.
I must say that with all the smell of burning in the air, there's a pervasive smell of skunk wafting. So could you please put that out? Whoever it is.
Well detected, Alex.
It's hard not to.
You clearly have a nose for this. All I could smell was the cordite from the crosses.
All right, I have to say this. The burning crosses is a very difficult thing for me to watch, because in America, the Ku Klux Klan would burn crosses in people's yards and stuff to get them to leave, because they were not of the what they considered supreme race, which is the white race. So it's really hard for me to see it, actually. I want them to like do something else with it.
Stop that, Pillfold. They're watching us at the police station, don't you know?
We have another version of
Nimrod.
Does anyone know if, because I know Remembrance Day is next week, right? So does anybody know if Remembrance Day is close to Guy Fawkes for a reason, or if it's just that it happened to be, right? And they kind of just coincide the celebration with the Remembrance? Because I know they do a separate Remembrance celebrations as well. I'm just curious if there is a link to it at all, or if it's just that it happens to be around the same time. You guys let me know. It's a lot of Native American garb. That's awesome. What's the significance of the striped shirts? Oh my God, the music is Nimrod. Okay, Nimrod is something that you call somebody like it's like a jerk off in America. So when she said that, I thought she was like hot. It was a hot mic moment for her or something. Like she was calling the other commentator or somebody else in the run. It just kind of got on. Oh, okay. My bad. Robert Catesby is the main conspirator. Thank you. I know some stuff. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm sure you are aware of the KKK. Today's election results on YouTube. I'll check it out. The Times and the Sunday Times. I'm sure there are. I'm sure. Look, every program in America is doing election results right now. I just didn't want to bore you guys with election results all night. Fred, thanks so much for joining. It's just a coincidence with the dates. Okay. I had a feeling it might be because but the only reason I asked is because they were doing the commemorative stuff there too. But I guess it's because it's the memorial. That makes sense. Yeah, the date of the end of the First World War was the 11th. Yeah. That makes total sense. Yeah, you guys, I agree with you. I think you're right. Fawkes was the trigger man because he had the experience with the gunpowder. He was the one who's remembered. That sucks. Nimrod is a biblical figure, a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wow. It is really an insult in America. Wow. Culture.
Commercial Square Bonfire Society, founded in 1855.
And I see the wreath has just been laid by Colin, who is a very familiar face as he's our local every delivery driver.
What's the significance of the song that the trumpet was playing? I wasn't expecting it. Does anyone know what that trumpet sound
And up they go to the sound of reveille. More smoke obscuring victory.
That's cool. That was great. I love the coffee.
Minute of silence immaculately kept, followed by the national anthem. Thomas Tuchel, if you're watching, I hope you were singing along.
That was a nice touch with the firework just appearing over the market tower as well at the end of the minute's silence.
I love the reflection of the torch light in the windows of the shops. It's amazing how we've got hundreds in front of us now, and everybody kept that silence, that minute of silence, immaculately, in respect of those who fell in the Great Wars and other wars. Such an important.
That's the thing. And I know in America it's not as well kept, that silence, but we always, when we have a minute of silence, most people in America will be silent and not really mill about it. But there are people that just don't care. And it is obnoxious, in my opinion, obviously from my background. But you guys, like when you remember stuff, especially when it comes to war heroes or anything honoring veterans and stuff like that, you guys take it extremely seriously. And, you know, we're really rah-rah America, but you guys take it to a level that is just the level that it deserves. Like it's just known throughout the culture. Don't fuck around. I really respect that a lot. I wish more Americans took it more seriously.
Important part of Bonfire.
And one which people do take very seriously. There's a real crowd of people down Market Street now, stretching all the way back to the Market Tower. Every single one of them silent, straight-faced, and still during that minute.
Look at that young girl. That's so cool. Oh, there's another one. That's so cool. There's a couple of them. That's so awesome.
And now the hubbub after the silence as everybody prepares to move on. And it's...
Okay, let's see. What's the next set here for you guys?
They're all unionists.
Now, I have a second job working at the Lewis Arms, a local pub. Commercial Square have a new HQ this year, which is the Brewers Arms. Now, we heard at the Lewis Arms last night, badge night, which is always quite a raucous evening in Lewis, that there was a power cut at the Brewers Arms. So we braced ourselves, and within 5 or 10 minutes, we were descended upon by what felt like the whole of Commercial Square. And they were outside and inside, in fact, carousing and making a lot of noise.
I really love the costumes. They're really they're all different and unique, and they all, I'm assuming they all represent different people, different groups, right, of people. I mean, there's like pirates, there's cowboys, which of course I love. There's nuns, it looks like Union. It looked like there was I'm saying cave workers, but mine workers. That's what I'm thinking of. People worked in the mines. Look at the guy at the horns, the Viking. Is it Viking or it's definitely not Native American. But I really love how like everyone's kind of, there's a bunch of different groups and represented and, participating. It's really cool. And how there's a lot of younger people participating too. That's awesome. There is something to be said, the glow of the fire against all of the old buildings and stuff is kind of a cool look, the glow of it and everything. It's a really cool look. So it's called they hit that section every year, boy. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. The poppy was thought of by an American. I did hear that. You might have told me that actually, Chris, to be honest. I generally play the last post at 11 on the 11th, but it looks like I'm not going to be able to this year. That's too bad. I'm sorry. The last post. Okay, so we have a similar song that we do when we're taking the flag down at the end of the day in our military bases and stuff. And we also play it on in memorial and stuff too. So that's similar. I just had not heard it before, to be honest. It's called Sunset. That makes sense. If it's possible for you not to work on the 11th, it's not always possible. I know the veterans don't get Veterans Day off in America either. It's on the same day. They don't take it off. My dad had to work. He had to take a vacation day if he wanted a day off. It's ridiculous. At the very least, veterans should have Veterans Day off or Remembrance Day off. every single service person should be remembered, no matter what war they're in. Even if they didn't see active war, they should be remembered. For anyone that is going to volunteer to put their life on the line for something else, that in itself takes huge character and huge courage, and it should be honored. And if you were active and fought in a war or in wartime, no matter what your role was, you should definitely be honored. It's a sacrifice I know I could never make, and I'm extremely grateful to anyone that can then have that kind of braveness and just selflessness in my eyes. So is the rest just parade?
You can't say fancy
You
dress.
can't say fancy dress, and I do apologise.
Costumed.
It was a costumed policeman.
Why can't you say fancy dress? Is that offensive? I've never heard that is offensive to someone, but is it? Because I want to know for my personal use, if anyone knows. Oh, clever. So now it's just parade, which is cool. See if we can catch up with some other stuff. So does each group do like their own little ceremony?
Shout out to the...
Is that how it works? Seems like it. Which I don't hate. I'm just curious.
Few last minute photos being taken.
Honouring
We did a lot.
Yeah, and don't Tar of all places.
Who came to a sad end. Then came the band, an excellent one, playing a no popery tune, and after it a great banner extended sheer across the street, and it was at least 10 feet in height. On it was inscribed "Borough Bonfire Boys" in vast golden letters. But this was not all. After came a tremendous glare of flame and red smoke, and then there was a stream of fellows dressed as demons who hauled along by means of a long rope attached to a wheeled iron platform 4 or 5 tar barrels, roaring and crackling and blazing and dropping a train of liquid mud that hissed in the mud. Bit of a repetition of mud there from our correspondent. Perhaps I misread my notes.
This commentator is hilarious.
It's a delight to do so. Hello to Sean and Lily May Coggles. Hi to Michaela at home cooking. After New Tipperary. Street, preparing to make their act of remembrance.
Is there more to this to the thing? We don't have a lot of time left, and I just don't want to be able to see if everyone's
Oh my God.
or is it just that everybody does their own ceremony, which is what it looks like?
It's been a county town that does mad stuff once a year, right? But it complicates it. It can work it out, right? And it doesn't have a problem with it, right? The only problem I have with it is when I have to get the Met involved. Don't like that.
Okay.
No need for that.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about how it's largely self-policing. And
It should
although
always
there
be.
is
It should always be self-policing, and it is.
and we can feel the heat of the crosses going past us now. It's absolutely
Yeah,
lovely.
actually can.
We were
So they were saying that
also talking.
they were talking about the police not wanting the police involved. They would have an event like this without having police there. Couldn't imagine that.
Arters,
Yeah, it's older than that.
but we do think it's older than that.
I
yeah.
think it is. Well, it's a fire festival, right?
Mm.
It's a fire festival before winter. And it's an old Britannic festival. You want to call it? I don't care what you want to call it, right? Confusion in history happens, right? But people have burnt stuff, right, for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think they burnt the people? Right? It was a festival. Even at that point, they burnt the martyrs, right? It was an ongoing festival.
Wow, that's quite a word to append to those events.
Yeah,
Those
but
are really grisly
It
events.
wasn't, yeah, it was terribly grisly events, but it wasn't a surprise to the people. It was something they were used to. It wasn't a special event then. Fires happened. Maybe people putting barrels and stuff was a bit different. I do suspect that it had been going on for so long in the conscious memory of the population of this area and the southeast of England, particularly. Well, that's why it still happens here.
Yeah, so why does it still happen here? Why did the
Because-
bonfire tradition remain so strong in Lewis in particular and Sussex generally?
Because it's the most impenetrable part of the country. It sounds strange. You can only get to
how
Sussex by the coast, right? To go even from London to Sussex, it's clay and mud and trees. But to get to the Downs, it's hard work. Right? So this place remained pretty much a forgotten place for a long time. It's like, oh, leave them alone. We don't need anything from them. They're fine.
Yeah.
We don't need it. They don't make anything particularly great. So we'll just leave them. There's nothing to rob and steal from them until people from Sussex started to rob and steal. Hence the jumpers.
Okay. Is that the striped jumper? Is that what he's talking about? This guy's funny as hell. Oh, I'm gonna let it run a little bit for y'all. I'm gonna check the election results for a minute, just to see if there's any updates for us, which there aren't. But wow, this guy's funny. I'm gonna skip a little bit ahead. Kind of where we got up to before.
No, that was cushion. What's that? What? I love this place.
No idea what that was, y'all.
Outing.
Okay, so that's supposed to be Guy Fawkes, right?
Oh, There's a shout out. Please, can you give a shout in a squad of Metropolitan Police, 2 inspectors, 6 sergeants, and 72 constables, plus a troop of lancers stationed in Brighton, and 1 stationed at Ashcombe toll booth near Kingston. The special constables were in 4 divisions, 1 at County Hall, 1 at St Anne's Church, 1 at Cliff Bridge, 1 at Southover. In the first attempt in 1838, a JP was about to be thrown over the railings of Cliff Bridge when he recanted and was set free. This was the origins of the tar barrel. So all this is going on in 1847. In 1846, there was an attack of the house of Sir Hugh Henry Blackman, who ran a business from what is now the Riverside. There was a previous attack on William Button's house, who ran a boarding school at 33 High Street. All sorts of stuff was going on. I'm going to pause that story and find out what happened in 1847 soon, but we've got some more action going on below us as Waterloo Bonfire Society go past. The London fanfare trumpets. And
Are they filming the Pope?
the crowd are shouting to burn him. Guy Fawkes goes past. The crowd are being held back. Burn him, they're shouting. Spare him, I say. And that's Waterloo through. All the Tudors are coming through now. And we have a message from Alex Ridley. Please, can we have a shout out to the Ridley Hemsley family who've been doing the bonfire tradition for 131 years this very year. Wow, that's impressive. Shout out.
That is
Indeed.
extraordinary. Oh, here's Waterloo's tableau.
Waterloo's tableau. Now, let's see what's coming on.
It's Postman Pat in his Royal Mail van.
It is indeed.
Did I tell you that I just learned who Postman Pat was like a month ago? And they were like, we were at work and someone's like, oh, Postman Pat dropped by. I'm like, oh, how do you know the postman's name? Has he been a postman for a long time here? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, it's Postman Pat. And I was like, what? Apparently it's a cartoon or something, right? Like, and the postman's name was Pat, so everyone calls the postman all the Postman Pat. Anyway. Yeah, hi Joe, thank you for joining us. Yeah, the UK had their elections on July 4th, so we're going to have our elections on November 5th. We have our elections on the same time every year. I don't know. Chris, don't make fun of me. I don't know. So they actually do the thing where they throw him in the fire? Does that happen? Does anyone know? They do fireworks. It seems like this is the end of the stream. It probably isn't the end of the stream. They probably go for another hour, but it's almost 9:30, which is usually when we end this stream, our stream. So let's end it with that part, and let me end it this way. You don't burn the postman. He didn't do nothing. He's a good guy. He brings you your mail. I'm gonna end with my Guy Fawkes experience, a little recollection. So there is a video about it out there if you guys want to go and check it out. Where we did our Guy Fawkes celebration last year. So it rained all day, all friggin' day. We get to the pub that was having the celebration that we were there, and it was soggy, and there was nobody there for a long time. And I was like, oh, maybe they should have canceled it. I'm just saying, like, it's raining. How are you going to have fireworks and stuff in the rain? In America, when there's fireworks planned and it's nasty weather out like that, they'll just reschedule it. But obviously, you guys are used to rain and everything here, so you literally do everything in the rain. So it went through, and so we have a bite to eat, and we're kind of just chilling, and I'm filming some footage because I don't know what's going on, right? It's raining on and off the whole time. We got soaked. But the fireworks went off without a hitch. The fireworks were actually pretty good. And they had a small bonfire going. It was supposed to be much bigger, but they just couldn't get it going because it was raining. It was smoking a lot, so the wood was super wet. They were throwing gasoline on it and everything, trying to get it going. Really couldn't get it going. But it was still kind of fun. It was the first time that we ever done anything like that. Well, the Americans have ever done anything like that. And we were soaked. We had to walk a few blocks to our car. And we were pretty much standing in puddles the whole time and everything. But it wasn't that bad. To be honest, it was kind of fun. I would like to do it again without the rain, just to see what it's like, to see it for real. And I'm told that there's a town near me that does a really good job. So we were going to try to do it this year, but it just got to be too crazy with a lot of stuff going on. So we just couldn't fit it into our schedule this year, but we're going to try it again next year. But I would like to do something that celebrates it a little bit less wet. But it was fun. Go check out the video. I'll put it in a link in the description box below to make it easy for you if you're watching this on the replay later. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I'd highly recommend it. The no rain, good luck. Yeah. Yeah, it is England. What are toffee apples? We have caramel apples and candy apples. Toffee, I assume it's an apple and toffee. Yeah, I probably didn't have to ask that question. What's Jimmy S, Sam? Tell me what Jimmy S is. I'm going to see if I can find some election coverage real quick. I'm probably going to get copyrighted for this part since I'm getting copyrighted like crazy lately. YouTube has definitely been on like a copyright kick lately. No states are called yet. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at here. Oh, someone's shooting some fireworks. I hear some fireworks. Don't see them, but I hear them. So nothing's been called yet. Who will win the presidential election? Shall I do it? Shall I do it? Don't. Oh my gosh! Look at that. Do you see that? See, a lot of people are on my side. Do you guys see that? Did you see that it was 73% for Trump? Holy crap. Hopefully this is just a MAGA crowd, but who's Jimmy Saville? I don't know who that is. I don't know what it's all about. I don't want to, I mean, I don't care about being controversial. You guys know that. But like, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't know who that is. So unfortunately, we only got the 2 super chats. I'm not complaining. I appreciate the super chats, but that means we didn't hit our goal of 10, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's okay. No big deal. It happens. Maybe I need to set my sights a little smaller to start off with. It's the first time I've done it. Probably should have done that. But I do appreciate the super chats that have been sent. Thank you guys so much. Oh, yeah, okay. That makes more sense, Chris. For those of you who don't know, Jimmy Saville was a pedophile. So we definitely don't condone that in any way, shape, or form. Gross. Okay. So we didn't make our goal, so there's not going to be a special Q&A live. Q&A? Wow. Q&A live yet. Maybe we will continue this poll, continue this challenge for the next few live streams and see what happens. Please, guys, let's hope that Kamala pulls out a victory at the end of the night. I am going to be I'm going to be staying up to watch some of the election coverage tonight to see what happens or see some results at least. I will need coffee. I'm going to go get a coffee right now. I am going to be, so there's a vlog coming out on Saturday. Of course, it's going to be my favorite things I've done in the UK so far. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you aren't already, and then hit that notification bell too so you can find out when that drops. A reminder again about our contest to name the stream. Make sure you put the name in the comments below this video or any video that mentions it. Or you can send us an email at hicksondiaries@gmail.com or DM on any of the social medias. And I hope you guys have a great Guy Fawkes. And thanks for joining me. And I learned a lot today because, of course I did, because I don't know anything. But it was fun watching some of the live stream parade with you all and everything. We definitely like doing that kind of stuff with you guys. So I hope I've got to find a way to do it where I'm not getting copyrighted though, because I don't want the channel to get deleted or anything. But everybody have a great Guy Fawkes, and thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you guys for your generosity and your support. I will definitely see you next week, same time, same place, and make sure you guys take care, and thank you for listening. Have a great week, guys. Bye.